Hello, lovelies. I'm continuing on this week with more stories about manifesting. My last two posts have been about the law of attraction, how to use it, what it's about, at least touching the surface. And I said that I was going to share my very first thing that I ever consciously manifested. So that's this story today. The very first thing that I ever manifested was my Shambhala ticket, which was for last year. This was the very first thing I consciously manifested. And the little story behind that is, while I was trying to decide whether or not I was actually going to go to Shambhala, I was doing the markets here in town. My kitty's scratching his scratch post. You can probably hear him. You know? I was doing the markets, the Saturday markets in Nelson. It was my first year doing them. And I met some really cool people and some really interesting people, and they were talking about Shambhala and how amazing it was, and I decided that I really wanted to go. But I didn't have the money. And this was actually before I picked up the book The Secret, or before I'd really read much about the law of attraction. I was only just dabbling in it because I was already on the positive mental attitude train, and that led me to the law of attraction. Anyway, didn't yet understand or fully understand the way the law of attraction worked, but I was saying at this market, talking to some people, saying about how I really wanted to go, but I didn't have a ticket. And they started talking about manifesting. This one girl in particular, who was absolutely lovely, was telling me how she's actually traveled the world and done all these amazing cool things without a clue of how she was going to do them, just that she chose to do them. With that in mind, I decided that I was going to Shambhala. Part of manifesting this ticket, there was a very conscious decision that it wasn't just that I wanted a Shambhala ticket, it was that I chose. I was choosing to have a Shambhala ticket. And I think that wording changed my mentality altogether, and it was a definite thing. I was choosing to go to Shambhala. One way or another, I chose to go to Shambhala. This was a couple weeks before, or a week or two before, and I still didn't know how I was getting my ticket. I looked online a little bit for how much tickets were selling for, because it was completely sold out. Now people were just selling their extras. And of course, with it being this close to the date, most people were selling them for $300 or so. I didn't have the money to spend $300, so that wasn't a question. My firm idea in my mind was that I was going to manifest myself a ticket. I was going to receive a ticket. Now, a little while later, as Shambhala was getting really close, I just woke up one day, and for some reason I just decided that day that someone was going to give me a Shambhala ticket. Someone was going to give me a Shambhala ticket. I didn't know who, I didn't know why, but someone was going to give me one. I remember thinking this so clearly in my head, and it was a beautiful day out, and I was walking to meet my friend, and this just idea was in my mind, and it was so solid, so firm, I just knew it. I knew it with all my being. I can't quite explain the feeling, but I just believed it really strongly, and I knew it was going to happen. I met up with my friend, and I even told her this very same thing. I told her that someone today is going to give me a Shambhala ticket, and that I didn't know how or why, but it was going to happen. Hi, Buster. He doesn't say hi very often, so say hi, Buster. Hi. Hi. He's such a cute kid. He's such a cutie. Oh, you're such a cutie. Anyway. Now, later that night, it was probably somewhere between 11 or 12 at night, and I got a phone call from my friend. And the first thing that came into my mind was how unusual it was that she was actually calling me, because, well, let's face it, in today's day and age, how often do we actually call each other? We usually just text each other, and we usually just texted each other. So I see on the phone that it's her, and she's calling me. So I picked up, and so she tells me, Bianca, you are not going to believe this, but I have a ticket for you. And I just was ecstatic. My mind was totally blown, and it was the most reassuring thing for me that the law of attraction existed and that we actually get to choose the things that we want in our lives. So I got a ticket totally free. It turned out one of her friends just bailed, couldn't make it to Shambhala, and she didn't want to waste her ticket, so I got the ticket and I was so stoked. It was an awesome experience, again, because I had a positive attitude. Check out my Shambhala podcast about my experience at Shambhala because it was awesome and amazing. This is the free ticket I got. This is the very first thing I manifested, and I like to hold on to it, not only because I had an awesome Shambhala experience, but also because it is the very first thing that I ever manifested, and it's my little reminder. And it was pretty cool because it was something big too. I mean, $300. This is pretty much $300 in my hand that I manifested out of thin air. I didn't know the how or the why, and that's a big part about the law of attraction and why you have to believe that whatever you're asking for is going to come to you, because it doesn't matter the how or the why. The universe will figure that out for you. You just have to know what it is you want, and you will receive it as long as you believe. I believed it. I received my ticket, and I have manifested so many other things aside from that. Small things, big things, and I'm going to share more of those stories with you, and how beautiful it is and how the law of attraction actually truly works. And if you believe it, then you can make it work for you as well. If you want something in life, you have to choose to have it. You have to choose to receive it. That, I think, is a big tip that is worth remembering. And that's my first manifesting story. I want to hear about your guys' stories too. Tell me some things that you've manifested or are trying to manifest, and if you've read The Secret yet. That's my story. That's today's video post. I will see you guys next week, and have a beautiful day. Create a nice day and manifest.